to do an agreement with them.
Good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, June 20th, 2023. This is a regular session of the school board of the school. It's Tuesday. Oh, Tuesday, I'm sorry. This is a regular session of the school board of the school trustee for School City of East Chicago. The time is 6:03. The place is the Administration Building, 1401 East 144th Street, East Chicago, Indiana, 46312. We are via live stream at www.sec.k12.in.us. This is a meeting of the school board in public for the sole purpose of conducting the school corporation's business, and it is not to be considered a public community meeting. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez.
Present.
Trustee Smith. Present. Trustee Hernandez, Orange.
Present.
Trustee Gibson King.
Present.
Chairman Rodriguez.
Present. Please rise for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Attorney Snow, can you recite the terms of the public comment as outlined in our policy 0167.3 in accordance with the state statute, Indiana Code 514.1.5-1?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just advise the public, as this is an open school board meeting, there is kind of a unique statutory provision that allows you to provide public comment on any individual agenda item. So when the agenda item is brought up for consideration before the board discusses the agenda item, the president will allocate time for comments from the public. Those comments are not to exceed 2 minutes in length, and they will be limited to the individuals who request an opportunity to comment. Anyone addressing the board needs to state their name and address prior to making their comments. And just as by way of guidance on, in terms of the nature of the comments, comments should be limited to the agenda item that's under discussion. They should be relevant to that item only. You may not speak more than once on any single agenda item. Your comment should be directed to the board as a whole, should not be calling out individual board members by name, and you should not expect it to be a question and answer. If you have questions for the board, you can pose them. The board may or may not choose to answer them in the course of their own discussion, but the comment period is not intended to be an exchange back and forth.
Those of you guys don't know, that's Attorney Snow. He's actually with Attorney Harris Law Firm, who we contracted. So thanks for being here, Attorney Snow.
Thank you.
Also, I just want to add to that note, just make sure if you do have a comment, if you can just approach the podium, because it is being recorded. And I know in our last conversation, our last board meeting, we weren't able to hear anybody who was speaking in the audience. So it's best to come to the mic and just state your name, your address, and your comment.
Mr. President,
Trustee Gomez.
just as a housekeeping issue, I will be keeping time for the 2 minutes that are allocated for agenda items, as well as the 3 minutes for the public comment. But I also wanted to advise that there are people watching this on the internet, and it's very difficult for them to hear when there's chatter in the audience, because these mics are pretty sensitive and they're picking this up. So if you could give consideration to not just the board, but your neighbors and those that are watching, that'd be much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 3.1, approval of the agenda. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of the agenda? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve item 3.01?
Mr. President, I move for approval of 3.01.
Trustee Gomez makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Second made by Trustee Gibson King. Is there any discussion?
Chairman Rodriguez,
Trustee Hernandez-Orange.
what agenda are we approving? Because what we have on our board docs, it does not show item 6.4 approval HPM manager agreement. And then for what was passed out today is approval of HPM manager agreement. What are we trying to approve?
I do apologize, I don't have 6.04 either, so that's not my item of discussion today.
So that's what I'm asking. What would the superintendent like to approve since this was passed out?
Was 6.04, was that part of the,
No, it started off being an agenda, but we didn't have sufficient information from Attorney Harris, so it was removed.
okay. Any other questions?
So then we're approving what we had on the board docs
Correct,
without item 6.04.
correct. Any other questions or comments from the board? Madam Secretary, roll call?
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
No.
Trustee Hernandez-Orange?
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez?
Yes. Item 4, the consent agenda. Is there any comments from the audience in regards to the consent agenda? The consent agenda consists of 4.01 claim docket, 4.02 personnel report, as well as 4.03 distribution of payroll. I believe is there a 4.04? Donation, no donation? Okay. Hearing none, I'm sorry. Yes. Please state your name and address for the record.
Helen Steinbach, 5207 East 73rd, Maryville, Indiana. I don't see on the personnel report any approval for a football coach. How are we going to do that in the fall?
Any other comments from the audience? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve item 4? I'm sorry, yeah, item 4, which is 4.01, 4.02, and 4.03.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda 4.01, 4.02, and 4.03.
Motion made by trustee Gomez, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second made by trustee Gibson King, is there any discussions?
Yes, Mr. President, I have some discussion.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yeah, on the personnel report, item number 3294. So, this individual is supposed to be located at Lincoln Elementary School for this position that's on the personnel report. Am I correct, Mr. Ambrego?
Yes, Board President, we spoke earlier, and I talked to the HR Director. He said that, yes, that is correct. The 3294 should be at Lincoln.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any discussions from the board?
Chairman Rodriguez,
Trustee?
to piggyback off of that comment that Dr. Brego said, so you spoke with whom spoke about this situation? Who was in the meeting when you spoke about this in regards to the situation?
I spoke to Dr. Mitchell, Ms. Gutierrez, Ms. Barney,
And who else?
and I'm sorry, Trustee King was also present.
Okay, and I only made that statement, and I'm actually glad that she ended up discussing this with you, because I know it has to do with union issues that I sometimes don't understand. But what I'm asking to point out is that you need to give us all the same courtesy. It's always been told to us that a board trustee cannot be in the same room as employees, as anyone else other than the superintendent. So in reality, that should have never happened, because we never want anyone to say that a board member went into a meeting with the superintendent and demanded them to make changes. I also have a question in regards to the claim docket. a couple of them. The check number 112975 on page 11.
Flame docket.
Correct. Page 11. I just want to know, one, why all these individuals are going to Disney. Two, why are they going? And I guess this is a concern to me because of the fact that, one, it says Disney, obviously, so we don't know exactly where they're going to. But the other thing is the fact that so many people are going. I think, to make sure we're cognizant of all of our finances, you probably want one or two people to go, and then they end up, I guess, showing others in the district. You should not have your leader and then other principals. I mean, you would think that you would find a way to not have everyone go. Plus, one of the principals already went to California once before, so now you're going to go to Florida. When you're learning about your English language program, which Hammond next door has an excellent English language program. So if you could enlighten me on to what that check is, what we're paying.
Thank you. Yes, as you know, our district is underperforming, so this is an excellent professional development for our staff. It gives us a chance to send our leaders to, it's not Disney, it's a conference in Florida. It's all about school improvement, how you improve your schools. So they're going to be learning about those strategies. Also, it's going to help them all come together because we keep saying that we have too many individuals going in different directions. So hopefully this will help them bond, get together as a team, learn new tactics, and bring them back to the district.
So Dr. Abrego, you stated that they're all going to bond as a team, but yet you're moving, well, your plan might be to move these individuals to different schools and or not even have them at those schools this upcoming year. So why are we sending them if that was part of your plan that was presented to us the other day? Because 3 of those individuals that are actually, well, 2 of the individuals, I think, are not even going to be principals or not going to be principals, according to your plan, possibly.
Okay, well, it's a recommendation, so it's not a done deal. I hope you know that. And,
No, there's a check that says we're paying for it.
oh, I'm talking about the comments that you're making about certain principals, may not be principals.
I
So
see.
that's not correct, so.
You are correct.
Make sure that we're saying the correct things. But again, this is just part of professional development that we want our leaders to go to, bring back those strategies, and just improve our district.
Okay. My next number, well, actually, I would like to remove that.
Trustee Hernandez, or also to anything that's discussed in an exec session, we don't want to bring it out in public pursuant to Indiana code, okay?
You're absolutely correct, but I didn't bring anything out other than this possibility of what the agenda item was. We didn't fully go into it, so I could actually state that.
But that may confuse the audience and not having,
So I'm going to actually ask for the 2 items to be removed, so let me go to the next item, and then I'll ask for both of them to be removed. So the next check is check number 113045 on page 21.
What page is it? Page 21.
Page 21.
The number now.
Check number 113045. So this item, once again, I referred to it at the last meeting, I'm referred to it again. The policy that we have is number 0175.1, and I discussed this with the superintendent earlier, in regards to reimbursing one of our trustees who went to a conference. The policy, again, states that you are able to be reimbursed if you attend the NSBA conference and its affiliates, and you'll receive reimbursement. The NALEO conference, which is the National Association of Latino Elected Officials, is not an affiliate of the National School Board Association. Again, we're asking for a reimbursement. And I understand, Trustee Rodriguez, that you stated that you spoke with many elected officials who were there. But again, if the policy states that you're not supposed to be reimbursed if it is not a National School Board Association conference, then why would you ask for reimbursement? So with that, I'm asking check number 112975 to be removed from the agenda, as well as check number 113045 to be removed from the agenda.
Is there a second to Trustee Hernandez Orange comment or a question?
Second.
Second made by Trustee Smith. Is there any discussions?
Yeah, I got some discussion.
Trustee Gibson King.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to,
Keep in mind, there's a motion on the table.
yes, but the discussion is,
In regards to the amendment.
yeah. Looking at what Mrs. Orange is saying, the only discussion that I have that I want to talk about is this here, I'm trying to see, this 112975. What page? It's on page 11, 112975 that Mrs. Orange.
11.
Trustee, oh, I'm sorry, that Trustee Orange just got through speaking about. That's my concern, as far as this is concerned. The other one, I don't have a concern with it at all. And then I want to clarify something else as far as the position for the.
So there's an
number.
amendment to this,
Okay.
for
We'll
this.
talk about that. Okay, yeah. I'm in agreement with her as far as this 112975. That's the only one that I'm in agreement with.
So I do have a question for Attorney Snow. Is there any restrictions for school board members attending conferences, any educational conferences? That's in that policy that Trustee Hernandez Orange just mentioned.
The policy that she cited reads, attendance at local, no. The school board recognizes the value of membership and attendance at conferences and meetings at the local, county, state, and national level. It then states attendance at local, county, and state workshops and conferences sponsored by the National School Board Association or one of its affiliates is encouraged. It then goes on to say each board member is expected to report back to the board after attending a conference at corporation expense. The next paragraph talks about expenses of other parties, not the board members who travel with the board member. Obviously, those are the responsibility of those people and not of the corporation. And then the board will receive a record of board member attendance at conferences. So in the body of this policy, it states that attendance at a conference sponsored by NSBA or one of its affiliates is encouraged. It does not state that it's required. And this policy does not necessarily speak to the reimbursement of the person who's traveling.
So,
So what,
Trust Chairman Rodriguez,
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
so we're encouraged to allow individuals to go to non-school board conferences. I just want to make sure that's on record,
So,
correct?
see the word encourage?
Correct.
Because it's the National School Board Conference.
Attorney Snow, I asked Attorney Snow.
Attorney Snow, can you answer a question?
I didn't hear what was the question? I thought you were addressing it to the chair.
The question is that it's encouraged for our school board members to attend conferences that are not school board related, because the LAO conference is elected official related, not school board related. It's in its title.
Okay, and I understand that question. I think the only use of the word encouraged in this policy says that attendance at local, county, and state workshops and conferences sponsored by the NSBA or one of its affiliates is encouraged. I don't think I would read that to say that you are limited to attending NSBA or NSBA affiliated conferences only. I also don't think I would read it to say that you're encouraged to attend, I also would not read it to encourage you to attend things that are not NSBA affiliated. I think the NSBA affiliated conferences are encouraged. I think that's the most we can read out of it. I don't think it works the opposite way.
Correct.
Got it. So it's basically, I guess, it's up to our discretion as an individual whether we would want to take advantage of the fact that we would go to something that's school board related or elected official related. It's for the person.
I think the question is whether the NILEO was, it's an educational.
No.
NILEO is an educational fund which over 27 school board members from across the country attended.
No,
So were you?
no, you don't have to speak for me. I'm telling you what I'm
You're
saying.
only speaking on what you want, what you're trying to say, as if
No, that
NILEO
means-
isn't a provident conference to attend.
Okay, now that you're done speaking, I'm letting you know that you cannot speak for me. I'm telling you, as a board member, you have the right to decide whether you want to go to something that is school board related or a conference that is elected official related. That's what my statement was.
I
So
think this was a school board
there-
related conference.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's all I wanted to hear, that you felt that this was an elected official conference was school board related. Thank you.
And it was grant, so the
Thank you.
grant, they paid for the trip, as well as the hotel, was paid for by NILEO.
No, we paid for it, that we approved the last one.
I think, no.
We
You
did.
didn't. You didn't approve the hotel, you didn't approve the airfare.
We did for another trustee, we just paid for
Any other
a portion of
discussions?
yours, you're right.
Any other discussions on the second motion? Madam Secretary, roll call.
Mr. President,
Mr.
Trustee Gomez.
I just want to clarify now, that because we've kind of got Trustee Gomez, did you have a comment? I'm sorry.
I think I'm going in the same direction you are. You go ahead, Attorney.
Okay, so at the moment now, we have kind of a motion within a motion, so I just want to be clear. There was originally a motion made to adopt the consent agenda. And during discussion for that, another motion was made to remove two items from 4.02, I think, is the finance report, right?
Right.
So I'm sorry? Oh, 4.01, sorry. So your motion at the moment is to remove those two line items.
Correct.
I just want to be clear, then we can do that, but then you would still have to address the rest of the consent agenda once we're done with this. So I just want us to be clear that we're only voting on these two line items right now.
Thank you.
Okay.
For clarity. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
No.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez?
No. Item 5, old business.
Mr. President, Mr. President.
No,
Yep,
you have to
yeah,
go back to
you're right,
that.
you're
You
right.
just said
I
it.
apologize.
Yeah.
So now we're,
I'm sorry, there was
Making a-
discussion relating to the personnel report.
Yes.
I believe that was resolved, so I think that we're in a position that the other two items now can be adopted, but I would suggest the board, we obviously make sure we're clear
But
before we do that.
Mr. President, I just want to clarify what I said about this personnel report and this position here. I'm sorry. Yeah, this position was a position that someone had, well, I don't know what's wrong with my mic.
you may have to,
No, that's all.
it's on one screen.
Yeah, no. Can y'all hear me now? Oh, well, maybe I'm not, okay, yes, okay. So, this was a position that was somebody had bidded on. This is a bid position. This was not a position that was given to anybody. I want to make myself very clear on that, because this individual here bidded on this position, and that position seniority carried them to where they are at right now. I just want to make clear on that, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we are making a,
Chairman,
we have a first and second motion for the consent agenda, correct?
right, we're in discussion.
So we're now in discussion on the consent agenda. Go ahead.
Chairman,
Trustee Hernandez Orange.
I just wanted to clarify, I know that Ms. Patty Gibson Keene stated that, so I just want to make sure, so what it says in the comment that the position changed from registrar at Block Middle School to principal at Washington L, so that's actually happening, or it's not, they're moving to Lincoln? Which one?
It's happening. This individual is going to be on the agenda here.
Uh-huh.
The individual is not going to go to Block. They're going to go where they bid it. They bid it to go to Lincoln School.
So then that has
That's
to be
where-
changed?
Yeah, it's going to be changed, but I'm just making
No,
a
no,
change.
no, and on our personnel.
Okay, you can make the change, but this is where they're going to with the seniority.
So is that a motion, so you're making a motion to have that change to,
Yeah, to Lincoln School, right.
okay, second motion. So are we able to add another second motion, Attorney Snow?
Can you
Yeah, are we able-
repeat what we're,
So Trustee Gibson King is in the process of making a second motion on the personnel report.
okay. But is she moving to approve it as it's written, or are we making a motion to change something in it?
Yeah, we're just only making a motion to change the position from Block to Lincoln. That's what we're doing. That's the only thing that we're doing.
Location.
The
Okay.
location.
Location.
So I think we need to move to approve that amendment to the personnel report.
Okay.
That would be the next motion, if that's the pleasure of the board, obviously.
Chairman Rodriguez, so Attorney Snow, with that being said, so how can you make that happen when someone's already in that position? So wouldn't you have to move like all of that?
Here's what I would say. This is a matter of contention clearly among the board, involving policies that are beyond what I have on the top of my head to address today. So if you want an opinion from me as to whether or not the amendment that's suggested is proper and according to policy, I would have to ask you to table it so that I can get back to you.
I agree. I think this should be tabled.
No, I'm not going to motion to table. Yeah, I'm making a motion that to take, for the move. That's what I'm making a motion for to
Second.
happen.
Okay, so there's a,
I'm sorry, so at this point now, we have an item on the personnel report that's not consented to.
correct.
So I think maybe the best course of action is to say, let's not approve the consent agenda as a whole. Let's look at the individual line items. I think at this point, we either do approve or don't approve the personnel report. We approve the finance report, assuming that there's no other issues, but besides the things that were removed, and then we go through individually. I think it'll just make it clear on the
There's a
record.
motion made,
And a second.
I believe there's a motion made and seconded with regards to the move.
With regards to the move, to the amendment on the personnel.
Correct.
Okay, so that being said, yeah, you can vote on that motion unless you vote to table it. That would be a separate motion.
No, I'm not trying to table it at
Okay.
this time.
So there's a motion on there's a second motion to, for item 3294, from location Washington Elementary to Lincoln Elementary. And it was seconded by Trustee Gomez. Is there any discussions?
Chairman, I just think that there's just so much confusion and chaos in the consent agenda. It just makes much more sense to just table the whole item or even have a special session so that this could be completed. Again, the superintendent made mention to the fact that, actually you did too, from our executive session, that something was the discussion of reorganization was not fully discussed. So with that, there's some items on this personnel report that are being executed, yet we don't have the full plan. So I just think that we should just table it to a special session or table it to the new, the next meeting.
Trustee Hernandez Orange, there's a motion and a second.
Second.
No, there's a motion and a second, so we're moving forward with the second motion.
So I am
So do you have any
I
discussions?
have a secondary motion to that secondary motion to table the entire consent agenda.
So are we tabling the entire?
So
consent
what's on the floor is the second motion made by trustee Gibson King, second by trustee Gomez. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
No.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
No.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez?
Yes. Now, in regards to the consent agenda, we did have a motion and a second. Is there any discussions at this time regarding the consent agenda?
Chairman Rodriguez,
Trustee Hernandez Orange.
I'm making a secondary motion to remove the consent agenda with all its amendments, to have further discussion, or have it placed in a special session and/or the next meeting.
Motion made by trustee Hernandez Orange. Do I hear a second? Second made by trustee Smith. Is there any discussions with regards to trustee Hernandez Orange second motion? Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
No.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King?
No.
Chairman Rodriguez?
No. So back to the consent agenda. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Mr. President, if we could have
Trustee,
the audience, please.
Madam Secretary, roll
I'm sorry.
call. Regarding to the consent agenda.
With the two
Regarding-
amendments.
With the
Or
two,
with the
With the
amendment.
amendments, right.
with the pre-amendments? I'm sorry, what was the question?
This is item 4, consent agenda, with the following amendments.
Okay, the one that was just done? Is that the one that you're asking?
Okay, you're voting now. We've had an amendment to the personnel report. We've had an amendment to the finance report. So now you're back to your original motion, which is to approve the consent agenda, now with the noted amendments.
Correct.
Yes.
Agenda with noted amendment.
You're voting to approve
Okay.
the amendments that you just made now. Yeah, the whole
report,
agenda.
yeah. Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? No. Trustee Hernandez Orange?
No.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez?
Yes. Item 5, old business, 5.01, approval pre-K, Dr. Brigo.
Yes, we're asking the approval of the kindergarten. The superintendent has asked to research the status of the preschool. The elementary director investigated and reported to the governing board. The 4-year-olds at the preschool will be housed at their home school. Our rating for our preschool was down, and thus we were not qualifying for sufficient funds. We have new criteria that 4-year-olds that attend our preschool must be potty trained. It will require less teachers because we're only catering to our 4-year-old programs, 4-year-olds now. The program will be 2 half-days, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, and it'll take care of about 170 students. And we want to open up to that many students because we want to prepare them for kindergarten. It'll be 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon.
Okay, is there any comments from the audience with regards to the approval of pre-K? If you have to approach the mic, if you like. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Bendra Miles. My address is 3939 Cary Street. If it's that's going backwards 2 half-days, that's like 1990s. And gymnast has all day, 4 days a week. What are the other kids supposed to do when you should start earlier? As early as 2-year-old class, like gymnast has. So why would we just only have 4-year-olds and then a half a day? Yeah, putting kids at a disadvantage early. You have to start early.
They ain't gonna ask you, baby.
Yeah, it's not full day. You're supposed to have, eat and have snack. That's not enough time. Bathroom break, learn, and then go out to recess in 3 hours.
Thank you. Is there any other questions, or, is there any other comments from the audience? Hearing none? Can you guys hear me? Okay, hearing none, do I hear a motion from the board?
Mr. President, I move for approval of 5.01.
A motion made by Trustee Gomez, is there a second? I'll second that motion. Is there any questions or is there any questions or comments from the board?
Chairman Rodriguez.
Trustee Hernandez Orange.
So there's a couple things I have, just wondering. With the fact that, I think it was in public stated that the possibility of the alternative program moving to Carrigash, right? So, and then if we sell this building, we'll all go there. So that's part of a plan for that building. How would you, again, separate all that?
I thought we were voting on the preschool.
I'm sorry? It is part of the it's a building.
I don't think we're that far yet. I think we're just right now trying to figure out what we're going to do with the preschool, and we're asking to move the preschool to their home schools. Once that is done, we can move further with other items. But until that's done, we can't make any other decisions.
So that's the fact that you even said that brings more of a red flag, because me personally, I don't want to leave that building empty and leave it to a charter school. So that actually should already been thought about. That's number one. Number two, again, I've explained to you that we, as an elected board of our community, one of the complaints is saying we're putting our children at a disadvantage by not having a full-day preschool. So if the conversation was, we're going to do a full-day preschool at the locations, I think that's a good conversation starter, and I think there will be more support behind that. I actually, because I don't have a preschool child, never thought about that. And it wasn't until the community came and kind of let us know. Can that be done? I'm sure it can, but I don't think there was a thought to even go that route, because you have enough teachers right now. You have people to do this, so I would thought that you at least gave, a second thought to what was happening with that. So that's why I'm saying no to this. There's lack of planning when we make moves.
Any other discussions from the board?
Good job.
Trustee Smith.
Mr. President, I spoke with Dr. Abrego today, and I asked him to explain this whole process to the community so they could understand exactly what's going on, because they have no idea about the half-day AM, PM. So it is your duty to have your curriculum or whomever is in charge of this to get on the mic and explain to the community exactly the process. Because this, to me, this is all very confusing. So if it's confusing to me, and I've read it 3 or 4 times, it is confusing to the community. So I would like for someone to speak upon this particular situation, this item, entirety, from transportation to AM to PM.
Any other board discussions?
So we're not going to have anybody to explain it.
I think what we can do,
Has it been a community forum with the parents?
We as the community want you all to explain.
She's on the board and she can't get no answer.
For our committee members, all I could say is, the board asked me to research this. We had our elementary director research this extensively. They did an executive session for our board explaining the whole process once.
Where are they at to explain that?
I'm speaking, please. And then they were not clear, so the Director of Elementary Education explained the entire process once again to the board in executive session. And I don't know how much more she can do, but, and even today, I did speak with Trustee Smith, and I had the director explain it to her one more time. The only thing I could ask, if people are really interested, they can come in and talk to the Director of Elementary Education.
Dr. Brago, I mean,
Can we have some order here, please?
Excuse me,
Because this is a business, we're in a business meeting right now.
Excuse me, Trustee Hernandez. When I spoke to him today, I asked him, I said there were going to be questions that the community needs to understand the process. And you kind of told me that someone would be here, so I was taking your word for it. You explained it to me, but they need to know where they're going. Some parents don't, their children have been accepted. They don't know which schools they're going to go to. They don't know if they're AM, PM. They have no idea of what is really going on. Explaining it to us is one thing, but explaining to a parent and the community as a whole, entire different entity. And all they want is some clarity.
Chairman Rodriguez?
Trustee Hernandez-Orange?
I think it was stated that, yes, we were presented with this. And the reason why we were presented with this, because we are being presented with the fact that there's a possibility if we don't get rid of the buildings or if we don't cut down on our spending, then we might have to go to the community for a referendum. I understand that. I heard that part. I do agree that some changes have to be made to the pre-K, and I agree to that, and I'm on record saying that. The thing is that I never understood the part regarding a full-day preschool, how it affects the children. With that, I changed my thought process because of the fact that it's affecting kids. At no point in time has there been another discussion of, you know what, that is true. Kids are going to be at a disadvantage. They're not going to be in school all day. They're not going to get the 2 meals. So now we're going to change it, look at it differently, see where I could present back to the board. I think that's where the concern is from myself, because at no point did we redirect. We didn't pivot to find a solution. We just said, we'll stay with the same game plan.
Okay, any other discussions from the board? Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
No.
Trustee Hernandez-Orange?
No.
Trustee Gibson King?
No.
Chairman Rodriguez?
Yes. 5.02, approval beyond textbooks, annual fees, quotes, and IGE for 2023-2024 school year. Dr. Brigo.
Yes, the school city of Chicago paid approximately $700,000 prior to Beyond Textbooks for EES, Educational Equitable Solutions. In the first year of Beyond Textbooks, it cost the district $72,970. In year 2, which is this year coming up, we want to renew the contract. For year 2, it will cost the district $40,227 for all of the same services that were being offered by EES. Just in 2 years, we will have already saved the district over $500,000. I think that the Beyond Textbooks teachers are happy with it. We only made it mandatory from grades 3 to 12. However, teachers in grades kindergarten, first and second grade also wanted to be part of it, so we opened it up for those teachers. And now we are implementing Beyond Textbooks for grades K through 12. And we are looking forward to the data that will be coming from the state next month from the Indiana Department of Education, and to show the progress we are making in our district.
Is there any comments from the audience in regards to the approval of Beyond Textbooks, annual fees, quotes, and IGE? I'm sorry. Just comments, I'm sorry, not questions, but comments.
T-Shalot, 4426 Arbutus Lane. Dr. Brago, I'd just like to know, have any of the kinks been ironed out with beyond textbooks as far as like the alignment of the content with the Indiana state standards? Some of the improvements that teachers have been requesting, have they been completed?
You got to speak up. Okay. Thank you for that comment. Is there any other comments?
Jesse Caroga, 35 Park Uvac, Porter, Indiana. Just a couple things. One, were those numbers correct? Maybe somebody needs to check on those numbers to see if they were correct, what was spent before, and what is being spent now on Beyond Textbook. And then the other part is this a state-sponsored program that you would wait for results from a state? That doesn't make sense. So I'd like that to be looked at as well. If it's not a state-sponsored program, why is the state going to provide data from this?
Any questions or comments from the, I'm sorry, any other comments from the audience?
My name is James Newson. I live at 4223 Alcott Avenue. As a student, I can honestly say we do not learn the best from books. We do not learn the proper information. The best teachers that I know teach from the heart, not the book. This is not a good option.
All right. Any other comments from the audience? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve item 5.02?
Mr. President, I move for approval of 5.0.
Motion made by Trustee Gomez. Is there a second? I'll second that motion. Is there any discussion from the board?
Chairman Rodriguez.
Trustee Hernandez-Orange.
One of the things that we asked for the last meeting was hard numbers from the state. We didn't get it, so with that, obviously, it's a no from me. But in regards to EES, because now the explanation has changed from this was a good program and this is the reason why we should have it, and to now factoring it with the money. If we were worried about the money, then we never would have got beyond textbooks. And I say this because of the fact that we had EES, which is somewhat similar to beyond textbooks, except for it's something from the state. This is why I voted for it as a no previously when you first brought it in. But the fact of the matter is that the rest of the board at that time allowed you to have this program because of the fact that you stated this district would be at a B with the beyond textbook program. So with that being said, I'm just trying to understand why it's put back on. Well, I know you table it, you put it back on. You could table it if you'd like to see actual hard factual numbers. Until then, and again, if the average is a increase of, let's say 5% from any other program, then why didn't we just stick to EES in the first place? We're not moving to the B. We should have just stayed with what we had, and then those numbers would be different, so.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Mr. President,
Trustee Gomez?
with the introduction of this to the other grades, Superintendent, and given that we may have some new teachers, is the training going to include the new teachers as well as the other grades incorporated?
Yes, the training continues. They were here in year one. They trained all our leaders. They trained our principals and our coaches. Year two will be the same thing. And now the understanding is that when they train our coaches in turn can help any new teacher that comes on, like train-the-trainer model.
Chairman Rodriguez, one more question for
Trustee Hernandez.
Superintendent. I know last year there was a concern with, there was a contract and it stated all the stuff that we were supposed to give the trainers in the contract, and then they actually ordered food and other items, and the expectation was for us to pay for that. I didn't see any of that in the items, so I just want to make sure that you don't tax on to what when they're coming here, the extras, because that's not part of it, so we should never give it to them in the first place. So I just want to make sure there's understanding there if you guys pass it.
Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
No.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
No.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez?
Yes. 5.03, approval of data coordinator job description. Dr. Abrego.
Yes. I know Dr. Mitchell was going to present this. He's running a little bit late, but we had given the board job description, and then I believe the board asked for some numbers. So he had created that. I believe that could be in your package. You asked for a salary. And then the most important thing about the data coordinator, we only have one data coordinator for the entire district, and we're looking for someone who could go into the classrooms and model some of the instruction for our teachers and also help them gather the data and really plan MTSS for our students. MTSS is when students aren't learning, we have to develop a strategy to help them, and it's really individual. So that's what we're looking for this, in this person, the data coordinator.
Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of the data coordinator job description?
How we doing? Kenny Coach, Monroe, 3031 Ivy Street. Just have a question. Is this the same floor mat that we had in Arizona and Colorado that failed 2 years in a row? It's not failed again.
Any other questions or comments from the audience? Any other questions or comments from the audience? Hearing none, do I hear a motion from the board on approving item 5.03?
Mr. President, I move for approval of 5.03.
Motion made by trustee Gomez. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second made by trustee Gibson King. Is there any discussions?
Chairman Rodriguez.
Trustee Hernandez Orange.
I think I expressed it a couple of times about the data coordinator job position, and it previously was here when, prior to us doing a reduction of force, and one of the things that was always expressed was that we were top-heavy, and this was considered a position where it was in that realm of administrator. So with that being said, I feel like and I said this before, we're going towards that same location. I understand that it was explained to us as this is something needed because you want to check different aspects of attendance and so forth and so on. But I just don't feel comfortable with approving something like this without knowing specifically where money's coming from after ESSER for the 2 years, because that's what they said it was coming from ESSER. So we asked if we could have information of where it could come from. I didn't get that. And I also just have a problem with adding on another job that we took away to add it, to take it away eventually in another couple of years. I don't know.
Dr. Abrego, you want to comment?
No, the only thing I tell you is that in order to improve our district, we really have to have a lot of accountability, and that's how we're building in. We're building in accountability from the top down, where our secondary and elementary directors go into the buildings and they monitor the principals. The principals have to go into the classrooms to make sure that they're monitoring our teachers. And if it's all steps of accountability, and when it's done correctly, that's when you get improvement. And that's what we're looking for.
Chairman Rodriguez.
Trustee Hernandez Orange.
So let me be accountable for my position. Superintendent, Dr. Abrego, can you tell me where the money's going to come from in 2 years to pay for this position?
It will all depend. We have a budget. We have a certain amount of money. After each year, you evaluate each program. Some programs are very successful and some are not. So what you do is the ones that are not successful, you eliminate. And if you have programs that are good, then you make room for those.
So
All it
that's
is
no.
It's moving your money around. That's all it is.
Is there any other discussions from the board? Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
No.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
No.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez?
Yes. Can I have some order, please? We're conducting regular business, please. Thank you. Item 5.04, approval of data instructional coach job description, Dr. Abrego.
Is that the one we just, the new one, 504?
Yeah, 5.04.
Okay, this is a data instructional coach, and currently we share coaches with some buildings.
Sir, 1 second. Please, can I have order, please? We're conducting regular school business, please. Thank you. Dr. Abrego.
The data instructional coaches, currently, we do have them in our buildings, but unfortunately, we don't have one at every building. Sometimes they have to be shared. So what we want to do is, we want to have a data instructional coach. We want to have one at each elementary building, 2 at the middle school, and 2 at Central High School. And really, it's what I spoke about earlier. It's all about accountability, using data to support our teachers, to reteach the standards to our students, and then working with all our teachers and staff. And again, I use the word MTSS. MTSS is just putting a plan together. When a student can't succeed, we have to find a way to help that student. So that's what these individuals will be doing.
Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of the data instructional coach job description? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the board for approving item 5.04?
Madam President, I'll move to approve this item.
Motion made by trustee Gibson King. Is there a second?
Second.
Second made by trustee Gomez. Is there any discussions?
Chairman Rodriguez.
Trustee Hernandez Orange.
I asked the last meeting if the superintendent could provide the financial amount of where all this money was coming from, because we have multiple instructional coaches that so it's the ones with the universities, as well, it's the ones that we're just gonna actually hire. So I asked at the last meeting to have that information, and I didn't get it. So today, when he contacted me, around 12-ish. Again, I asked for that information. I haven't received it. So do you have that information?
Yes. I think Dr. Mitchell provided me with that information. We'll share that with each board member. By tomorrow, we'll have that all for you.
So there's no.
So the accountability portion of it is we should have the information prior to the actual vote. So with that being said, how can we vote for it?
Is there any other discussions?
Yes, so with that,
Trustee Smith.
yes, thank you, Mr. President. With that, with no salary description, on salary stated, I have to say no.
Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
No.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
No.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez?
Yes. Okay, item 6, new business. 6.01, approval of contractual services, summer school tutoring for St. Stan's, session 1. Dr. Abrego.
Yes. Again, these are federal dollars. They come to the school city of Chicago, but they really follow the students. So we have students that attend St. Stanislaus. Just like East Chicago has summer school, St. Stanislaus has summer school tutoring, and this is their session 1. So they put the plan together, and then once they put their plan together, we send over the money.
Okay. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of the contractual services summer school tutoring for St. Stanislaus, session 1?
Stanislaus.
Stanislaus. Session 1. Is there any comments? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve? Item 6.01.
Mr. President, I move for approval of 6.01.
Motion made by trustee Gomez. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second made by trustee Gibson King. Is there any discussions?
Chairman Rodriguez.
Trustee Hernandez Orange.
Dr. Abrego, I know one of the questions that have been asked from the community, and I think just to answer them so they can know why that St. Stanislaus and St. Casimir and those schools receive our Title I dollars. but charter schools don't. If you could further explain that, so there could be knowledge.
Do I have my Title I director? I think she's here. Ms. Castro, are you here? Do you want to help me with that? And I know the Title $1 is follow the students. It doesn't matter, as long as the students are living in Chicago, what school they go to, the money would follow them. And does it matter if it's a charter school or not?
Yes, it does.
But we don't deal with charters.
Okay, all right.
I know.
So the money just follows them to their schools, but not the charters,
No.
No?
Can you approach your mic, ma'am? Yeah, for the record, thank you.
Hi, Director of Special Ed, Tammy Pohl. What it is that when we have students placed in private schools, so St. Stan's, as we said, say Cashmere, what happens is we get dollars for those students, and what happens is they, as they said, they come up with ways that they're going to spend it. So, like with me, I have to give so much of my dollars to St. Stan's for those students that have IEPs. Charter schools are public schools, so they receive their own money. They do not receive any money from us because the government, the federal government, gives them dollars. So that's why we don't give money to the charter schools.
Thank you, Ms. Pohl.
You're welcome.
Just got a question, Mrs. Pohl.
Yes, yes.
These dollars that we're using for these private schools, now, the tutoring programs that they have, they send their kids to Silver Learning Center.
Yes,
Am I correct?
and they choose where they're going to spend
Yeah,
their
that's right,
dollars.
they do. But we don't send our children to Silver Learning Center, which we get the same dollars as they do.
You got to ask Superintendent about that.
And hold on,
Ms.
Vanessa. I'm trying to make a
I'm
point
sorry, I
here.
didn't hear you.
I'm trying to ask a question. They send their children for summer school to Silver Learning Center. And we get the same dollars as St. Stan's do because we give them the dollars. Now, I've been saying for the longest, when I was sitting on the other side of the table here, our children, why can't we send our kids, I'm asking Ms. Pohl this question, to Silver Learning Center as well as with the dollars that we give?
President, if I could ask the audience, please.
Say what now?
I'm having difficulty hearing you.
Oh, I'm
There's other
sorry.
people speaking over.
That's been a big concern of mine.
As a district, what we have done is we have had our own summer school.
I know you have, and it
Yes.
ain't been working out.
And so, and that is what the school district has decided, as far as our dollars go.
Yeah, I understand. I just wanted to verify that because I know we could do the same thing, and I think our kids would benefit if we did do that.
That you have to
Sending
let
them?
the superintendent know. It's
Yeah,
his
that would be-
plan.
Ambrego
A
already,
district
he's
decision.
aware of this.
Oh, okay.
He is aware of this from me, that I have been asking this question when I was on the other side of the table there, when I would see these dollars getting spent at private schools, and we get the same dollars, so we could do the same thing. That's my question, and I would like to see something like that take place in the near future.
We can discuss that.
Okay,
That's a
thank you.
discussable item, but that's something that we as a district have to decide.
Thank you.
Any other discussion from the board? Madam Secretary, roll call.
No, I had already talked.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
She's on the mic.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez?
Yes. Item 6.02, approval of contractual services, summer school tutoring for St. Stan's Session 2. Dr. Bregel.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. St. Stan is offering tutoring session 1. Session 2 for them will be July 31st through August 11th. So it's all for the same reason that we mentioned earlier.
Okay. Is there any comments from the audience with the approval of contractual services for summer school tutoring for St. Stanislaus? Session 2. Hearing none, do I hear a motion from the board to approve item 6.02?
I make a motion to approve, President.
A motion made by trustee Gibson King. Is there a second? Second made by trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion? Madam Secretary, roll call?
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez?
Yes. Item 6.03, approval Bishop Knowles Summer School Session 1, additional teachers. Dr. Brago.
Yeah, again, another private school, high school, Bishop Knoll. They're going to have tutoring. Their tutoring is from June 5th to June 29th. So again, the dollars follow the students. The students live in Chicago, but they attend Bishop Knoll.
Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of Bishop Knowles Summer School Session 1?
Jesse Quiroga, 35 Parku Vac, Porter, Indiana. June 5th through June 29th. We passed that already and we're going to approve something? I know this is a question, but the dates you stated were June 5th through June 29th.
Because it's on this paper, Joel.
Any other comments from the audience? Hearing none, do I hear a motion from the board to
Mr.
approve item
President.
6.03?
Mr. President, move for approval of 6.03.
Okay, motion made by trustee Gomez. Is there a second? I'll second that motion. Is there any discussions from the board? Madam Secretary, roll call.
So, wait, one question. I'm trying to go back to reread because I
Trustee Hernandez.
totally missed it. That's because it's two teachers.
So we're paying for one additional teacher?
Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Chairman Rodriguez?
Yes. Item 7, subcommittees. 7.01, finance. Trustee Gibson King.
There's nothing
I'm
at this
sorry.
time.
Mr. I'm sorry. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to amend. I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda regarding the personnel issue. May I make a statement?
Motion made by trustee Smith. Is there a second?
Yes.
Mr. President, there's no second.
There's a second.
Second made by trustee Hernandez Orange. Trustee Smith.
I would like to ask for Dr. Brago's contract to be terminated.
Can I get some order here, please?
Beginning June 21st, 2023.
You can.
I'm asking for Dr. Abreu's termination of his contract for beginning June 21st, 2023. And my reasons for the termination of the contract, I do not have any confidence in the present superintendent's ability to provide a clear and concise direction for our school board, our school district.
Discussions? Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Gomez?
No.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King?
No.
Chairman Rodriguez?
No. Subcommittees, 7.01, trustee Gibson King.
Yes, I don't have anything at this time, Mr. President.
7.02, policy, trustee Gomez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Trustee Gibson King and Vice President Gibson King and I have been working diligently on, improving our policies. And at this point in time, we've been working with Attorney Snow and Attorney Harris on the following items: 0163, 1400, 0167.3, 6320, 3217, 3120 and 4120. Those policies are pretty much ready to go. There may be some slight additions to one of those, but there's also another half a dozen or so policies that are coming out from the ISBA, and Trustee Gibson King and I will be meeting on Thursday to go over those new policies. And so we'll probably have about a dozen policies to look forward to at our next meeting, and I hope that we can perhaps schedule a special session that will allow us to go into each one of these in detail without having to go through any business items. So that'd be my report as of now for the policy committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Gomez. Item 8, Superintendent's remark. Dr. Brigo.
Yes, I don't have any remarks at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Item 9, trustee remarks. Trustee Smith.
No, not at this time.
Trustee Gibson King.
Yes, I'm going to the mic.
It's a trustee.
Hi, Patty Gibson King, 4102 Parish Avenue. I like the crowd that we have here. I've not seen the crowd here in the last 8 years. And I want to speak, the superintendent of schools that we have now, I was not a part of that. But what I am trying to do is straighten out what has happened to our children. And I get real emotional about it because a lot has happened. A lot has happened to our children. You don't have to cheer on Mr. Monroe because you were part of this. Okay, you were part of this. You were part of what I'm speaking about right now. Okay, and some more of you all are in here. It's part of what I'm speaking about. Because in order for this to have happened, it took some years for this to happen. Now it's going to take some time to undo because of what they have used this board as a stepping stone to get to the point 1A. Now, a lot of you was on this board, but where are you at now? You used it to get to where you want to go? That's where you're at? No, you're not going to say that, but I don't see any of our children in here except for James, who is... Hold on a minute. I'm speaking. James is in here, okay? And he has came in here and said some things as what he would like to have in his school. Grown people are here at the expense of what they want. Because if it was not that, I would have been seeing y'all a long time ago. The only time when you come is when you want something. You're not here for our children. You're not here at all. I'm going to say that. You're not here because I don't see you. I don't see you coming until there's something going wrong with not for what you all want. So that's what I have to say. That's what I have to say, okay? So right now, I'm just saying there's a lot of things that has happened in here. You all have not been no part of it until you guys want to come in here and be a part of something negative. I don't hear anybody in the neighborhood, that comes in here and say anything for our children. Nobody has came. So when I sit down there, when I make a decision on something, I'm trying to undo something. I didn't call no names, Pastor. See, I didn't call no names. Didn't call no names now, okay? So I'm just trying to undo something that I've seen going on for a long time. Okay?
How you gonna see that volunteer who's taking up all the programs for the kids? Sit up there. Point of order, please. What you talking about? Okay, calm down.
I have a couple remarks. And first and foremost, for Ms. Gibson King, you brought a lot of good points to the table from where you have been. But for you to say that I've done more in that school district than you've ever done, because I made sure to be there and support them, whether I was working there, coaching there, staying after school, putting up tables, so forth and so on. And like I told them, yup, I am going to be a councilwoman in 5 months. You are absolutely correct. And that's not going to change where I'm going to be at. And that's going to be in the school system no matter what. Most importantly, because my kids are there, But at the same time, because my former colleagues, the mentors that I've had, individuals like Principal A. Brown, who have showed me the right way of caring about kids, because it's not about the individual. It's not the student, it's about the student, it's not about the adult. And that's how that man works. So I'm glad to be able to come back to the schools to make sure to make that happen. Regardless, I want to just discuss my secondary motion to Trustee Smith's motion. And it comes from many months of failed communication. It comes from the violation of a contract in regards to the immorality of what the superintendent and his administrators do. And I say administrators because some of them allow this to happen.
Right.
Board members allow this to happen.
Right.
I say immorality because, as you say, it's the superintendent's doing. No one is here publicly speaking against what's happening. They can't. People who are in the schools who love these kids cannot come up here and defend themselves because something will happen to them.
That's right.
The fact of the matter is that when they end up having, I guess, someone to back them on the board, unless you're on the right side of the board, obviously you're and they get what they want, then it's going to be okay. Never once have any superintendent allowed us as a board member to meet with an individual who is working for the school district. I was the president for 6 years, and not one time did I ever meet with a teacher and the superintendent, an administrator and the superintendent, none of that, because that's not what's supposed to happen. And shame on you, President, for allowing that to happen, because you know that's not supposed to happen. To have dedicated individuals with no cause because someone feels personally fits, we're going to move everyone from one spot to another spot. And some of the reason of why is because their personality doesn't fit in the school building, or the personality doesn't fit that area, or their personality doesn't fit those parents and their kids. That should not be the reason why you're moving principals, teachers, administrators. That makes no sense, because in reality, you do not know those individuals. You do not know how much they mean. If someone is being moved to a job to work with adult children, and they've never worked with adult children before in their life, why would you make that move? Right. If you have people who have worked in the administration building or in administration in general, how could you make that move to have them go work with kids on an everyday basis when they've never done that before? Who's the focus of this? Is it the child? Is it the school district? Or is it your feeling of they should probably be in this position because I don't think their personality fits? Again, I would take any criticism and all criticism that you throw about you picked this superintendent. I would take all of it. But I'll tell you one thing, I right my wrongs, always. And I will sit here and I will second Trustee Smith's every single time she has it, or I will do it myself. Because I will not allow anyone to leave my home. This is where I graduated from. I'm a Cardinal for life. You're not going to destroy this. And I might not get along with some of the people in this room, in this building, but we all have one main goal, and that's to do right by kids. There you go. So that's why we're here. When you talked about policies, which you guys are addressing many of them, and I do applaud that, but I do ask that you make sure that policies be addressed correctly, as in if 0.75 means you should encourage people to go to certain types of conferences, let's encourage them to go to a school board conference that's recognized by the School Board Association of the state or of national. Because I'm going to be real, when you go to these conferences, you have a good time. I see it on Facebook all the time, you guys go. That's why I stopped going.
Well, I have a good time.
With that, I have to say that I have to end on a good note. And one of best things that I see is I see children in this audience because they want to speak up for someone that they love. Kudos to all of them. And I want to say that even though these coaches, and I'm going to let you know, coaches, you're probably going to get fired after I say this. But listen, even though these coaches have not been approved, and they have been working this whole entire time with their kids.
Yes, they have.
They have done conditioning. They have taken them to different tournaments as our games. I know they're doing this because at the end of the day, they love our kids. They touch our kids every day. We don't. I hate that position because I can't touch my kids every day. I can't be with them. I can't encourage them. I can't do that. I have to worry about adult stuff. But I thank them for doing that because that's the only way that they will be in some form or shape or way powerhouse eventually. And again, one of the things that Dr. Brager, you stated to us was you want a powerhouse in all these athletic programs. We are behind by months now. You look at personnel reports or you look at HRs at different schools, because I always do, all their coaching positions are done. It's embarrassing when I hear, man, East Chicago, East basketball powerhouse, and we don't even know who the coaches are.
Too many people.
Embarrassing. That is a liability that we're putting on ourselves for this football program to not be in shape, to not have their muscles going, and then they go into the field second week of August, and then they're going to get hurt. We can't get kids to come out in the first place, yet now we want to hurt them on top of that. Very disappointing. And we haven't even talked about it in the meeting yet. Matter of fact, all these coaches' positions, they haven't been interviewed. I can almost guarantee that.
Too many alumni showing up here.
So, with that being said, I thank you all for coming. I thank the students for being here. And thank you, coaches, for making it about the students and having interest in them and for working hard for them because not others are. That's it.
Mr. President, go ahead, I'm sorry. Mr. President, I'm piggybacking back off of.
Trustee Gomez?
Mr. President,
You rude.
It said Trustee Gomez.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you that.
Okay.
But then I'm speaking after Trustee Gomez, okay?
No, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am.
With that attitude,
At first, I wasn't gonna say anything, but yes, I am.
Can I get some order here?
Yeah, you're gonna get some order after you.
Trustee Gomez?
Mr. President, I just wanted to make a comment. We're always kind of in a learning mode here, and I found out something that maybe, common knowledge to many in the audience, but Opal Lee was known as the grandmother of Juneteenth. And I was watching a program about her yesterday, and what an interesting program.
Don't go there.
Can I get some order here, please? Please.
Don't go there.
Trustee Gomez.
So why don't they do the personnel thing right now? Can we speak on that? Because you want to speak and she
Last time, can I get some order, please? Can I get some silence? Trustee Gomez, please.
Thank you. As I was saying, I was watching an interesting program yesterday, which I did not know, and I wanted to make the comment because I think at the end of this program, it really struck me that Opal Lee, I did not know much about her, and as I watched the program, one thing that I learned was really interesting. Not only was she the catalyst and the activist that made Juneteenth a national holiday, she was also a retired teacher and a counselor. And that really hit me, given, that we're up here as members of this Board of Education. And so I wanted to just thank all the teachers out there who have, done what they've done for our kids, and that they've gone and done some great things, not just for our kids locally, but for our nation. So it was just a tribute I wanted to give to those that may not have known that Ms. Opal-Lee was a retired teacher, counselor, and an activist that brought us that national holiday. I made me, a guy who went to college to become a teacher, really proud to know that, teachers really go on and do more than just teach in the classroom. They change the lives of not just students, but of the nation. And that concludes my remarks.
Individual remarks, public forum, Attorney Snow.
Smith, what you got to say?
I'm still going to speak what I have to say.
Melvin Mobley.
And it might be
I'm
out
sorry,
of order. I'm going to speak what I want to say. I'm going to speak what I want to say. You let
Attorney Snow.
Trustee, you let Trustee Gibson get up there, and you let her say what she said. At first, I wasn't going to say anything because I thought that I had covered all of my bases, but this is what I want to make perfectly clear. I don't have anything personally against Dr. Brago. I have personally against that our kids are not learning as Trustee Patty Gibson said. And this has not just started, like she said, and we have not been coming to school board members, coming to school board meetings back like she said. But I do want to make this perfectly clear, and I'm going to say it whether he likes it or not.
That's all right.
We have, since Dr. Brago's been here, he has created such discourse and confusion throughout the administration of our schools. We have other issues that we have to address other than grades. We have schools, maintenance that has not been maintained in our schools. Our lawns, our environment just looks horrible. This is not East Chicago. This is not the East Chicago that I came to. So we're focusing on grades, but there are other issues like positions that need to be filled in HR or positions that need to be filled in maintenance. These are the things that make a school work, a district work. And he wants to work as a team, then hire these people and stop holding on to these jobs and let HR do what they need to do in order to bring our district back to where we need to come from. I have never seen East Chicago schools look this bad. From the outside onto the inside. And until Dr. Brago gets his HR person in place in order to get these schools back in order, you see, the climate and the culture have changed. If a child leaves home and the school is just safe haven, they expect it to be a safe haven. They expect for it to feel like I'm home, I'm with somebody that loves me. We cannot continue to have our schools in a dismay, and we talk to the children, and we are trying to figure out how we're going to upgrade our schools or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. Dr. Brago, yes, you have a lot more work to do. And I'm going to say it again, and every meeting, I'm going to ask for your termination, a letter until you get these situations straightened out.
Individual comments, Attorney Snow.
We have reached the point in the agenda for public comments. They are permitted under this agenda item only. They will be limited in length to 3 minutes. You should have, if you were going to make a request to speak, you should have signed up prior to the meeting. So I believe the only people that will get to speak are the ones who signed up previously. State your name and address prior to your comments.
My name is Melvin Mobley.
Sir, hang on just a second. Hang on. I wasn't done with the disclaimer. Again, we are not speaking more than once on an agenda item. Your statement should be directed to the board generally as opposed to any individual member of the trustee. Again, this is not expected to be a question or answer. And your comments should not be defamatory in nature. They should not be disrespectful in nature. They should be in accordance with the, kind of the productive discussion that needs to go on at a public meeting. Additionally, the board does have a policy specifically with regard to avoiding discussion of personnel matters. So, an internal discussion regarding a personnel matter is against board policy and is going to be at the discretion of the president as to whether he wants to allow it to proceed.
Again, Melvin Mobley, 3625 Pulaski Street. I have three questions, or basically not questions, just statements. One, as far as the human resources and the teachers, coaches, some things are very simple, but it's human beings who make it hard. And right now, we have a situation where people have their own personal agendas instead of the agendas of the children and the parents. That has to be separated before this even started, the meeting. Tonight, we have Reverend Wade here again. This is my third time seeing Reverend here in a row. The second time he was here, the last time he spoke about students' needs at Central High School. And he asked the board, did anybody meet those students to talk about their needs? So my question now on that is, again, it's simple. If students at a high school have needs that needs to be addressed, what is so hard about driving up there or walking, whatever you have to do to get there and see what the needs are? I mean, it's not hard to do, but we gotta wanna do it. The students are coming first, along with their parents, and then the board serves the students and the communities you were elected to serve. I'm not gonna be long, but the only thing else I would say as far as athletics, I'm laughing because this past season in boys basketball, we went through 3 coaches in a week and a half. And I witnessed at the sectional game at Munster, after the game was over, I witnessed 2 or 3 board members telling certain fans, we know we got to do it better. We're going to have everything cleared by the end of April. Here it is June, and the coaches don't know where they're going to be at. I think it's only fair to the parents, it's only fair to the coaches that this should have been on the agenda tonight to let them know exactly where they're going to be. Not just basketball, football. You got guys coaching golf, track and field. And believe me, I've heard from some of the people outside of this environment stories about the track team not having enough uniforms, have to have fundraisers. How can we go on trips when you have kids that don't have uniforms to participate in?
Mr. Mobley, 3 minutes are up. 3 minutes are up.
Thank you, Chair.
I have one left. No. All right.
Go back next time. Next speaker is Mr. Shaw Friedman.
What's his name? Shaw Friedman.
Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent. My name is Shaw Friedman of the LaPorte Law Firm of Friedman & Associates. We were retained to protect the good name and reputation of this school's Chief Financial Officer, Layla Simmons, who has served you. She has served you and the patrons of this corporation faithfully with absolute integrity for 7 years. And I just wanted to mention briefly in terms of her background, she moved here essentially in terms of the corporation after having served 10 years with Blue Chip Casino as an accountant, as someone who did financial analysis. She has an outstanding reputation for integrity, and that's why you hired her. And it's our belief and we understand now that the independent review has been concluded. Attorney Elizabeth Barnes was assigned by this board to conduct a full review. Ms. Barnes has delivered a report to the superintendent, which we fully expect will show no evidence of wrongdoing. We're simply asking the board to move on this quickly, the superintendent quickly, to allow for a reinstatement so that there is no cloud over this dedicated public servant. Thank you for your time.
Jerome Buckman.
Chairman Rodriguez.
Next person is Jerome
Chairman
Buchanan. I'm
Rodriguez.
sorry, Buchanan?
Chairman Rodriguez.
Wait.
You're out of order.
Oh, they ain't gonna respect.
Trustee Hernandez-Orange, you are out of order.
Tru-
So we're an
Which is
individual-
fine, and again, you let Diane do it, so I'm gonna do it myself, you know that. With that being said, because of what was found, from what we're hearing, I think this board should most definitely send a letter to our CFO apologizing for exactly what you did or did not accuse or called the paper or whatever you guys did. Most definitely, we need to send a letter of apology at the least. You might want to send one to me too.
Mr. Buchanan, when you're ready.
My name is Jerome Buchanan, 1221 East 46th Street, Chicago, Illinois. My comments are in regards to the past few meetings about the fitness instructor position over at the East Chicago Fitness Center. All right, so I'm going to just read you the note that I'm going to hand all to you on behalf of myself and my coworker Isaiah Smith. All right, dear school board members of School City of East Chicago, my name is Jerome Buchanan, and I am one of the fitness instructors at the East Chicago Fitness Center. I have 19 years of experience in the fitness industry, the first 4 being in the Atlanta area, working at the Forum Athletic Club and LA Fitness respectively, and the next 15 years here at the East Chicago Fitness Center. I graduated from Eastern Illinois University in 1996, where I lettered in playing football with a bachelor's degree in industrial technology. Then in 1998, I began what would turn into a 3-year run playing indoor professional football in Madison, Wisconsin, Peoria, Illinois, and Rapid City, South Dakota. In 2003, residing in the Atlanta area, I began my career in fitness training, all while achieving my second bachelor's degree in media arts and animation by 2006. The first certification that I received back in 2003 for personal training was from the National Council of Certified Personal Training, or NCCPT. Since then, I've amassed certifications from SCW Fitness Education in personal training, functional training, and lastly, corrective exercise and coaching techniques. After relocating back to the Chicago area in 2007, I interviewed for the position that I currently hold on 2 separate occasions. In 2008, I was hired by Healthy East Chicago and began at East Chicago Fitness Center, connecting with the community. During my 19 years,
1 minute.
Yes.
Don't interrupt.
During my 19 years, I have worked with a wide range of clientele, from overseas professional athletes, college and high school athletes, fire department recruits, a Parkinson's patient, a stroke survivor, a mixed martial artist, and community members with various injuries and rehabilitation, post-rehabilitation. I will skip down to the last paragraph. Since 2008, my role as a fitness instructor has largely been multifaceted. I'm not just referring to task-related things to the job. We've been made aware of the correlation of physical health to mental and emotional health. So, being able to connect fulfilling one person's need for that day with this correlation in mind is helping to build a healthier community. I have balanced addressing the physical fitness component and the use of proper discernment on how to impact the daily lives of each client. I have more in here because I'm short on time. I will show you all that I have, but I just want to thank you for your time. If you have any questions in regards to my position, what I do, or what Mr. Smith does, feel free to contact me. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Kelsey Quiroga.
Thanks, Jay.
Good evening, everyone, trustee, superintendent, community. My name is Elsie Quiroga.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
35 Parker Vash, Porter, Indiana, 46304. For those who don't know me, I've been teaching not teaching, and also in the school, over 38 years. I am committed, I am loyal. So with that being said, I was born and raised and educated in East Chicago. I am a senator at heart, okay? The last meeting, Trustee Hernandez said, I encourage people to come up here, don't be afraid, talk.
That's what I'm
And that's why I'm here, and I thank you. This is not normally, I'm not normally like this, but I need to speak up. I truly do. I have been here in East Chicago, like I said, over 20 years, other school districts as well. I've seen 12 superintendents since I've been here.
Right.
So that indicates we've had several platforms and several programs in which I trained for years. So these programs have never matured. So it's very difficult for our school to move forward with 12 different superintendents and different platforms, as you well know. And even though I live in Porter, my heart is here in East Chicago and with our kids, with my block junior high school kids. I do a lot here. I'm part of St. Stanislaus. I shop here. Even my hairstylist is from here. I'm here 24/7. My neighborhood doesn't even know that I live there. I'm here constantly. But I'm supportive, and I encourage my faculty, my staff, and my students to be successful. I come to you with knowledge and experience. With that being said, I want to stay at Block, actually. I think I do great at Block. Our attendance has succeeded all schools. I've been congratulated. I've said, great job, Quiroga. You're doing a great job. Keep on doing that. Well, it's going to be very difficult, keep on doing that, if I'm going to be transferred to another school. Again, I'm very dedicated. I'm supportive. There's evidence and artifacts that indicate that. And I would say some more, but I don't want to. I feel, and I have to say that I feel that I've been targeted, and I'm not happy. That's all I have to say. Thank you, everyone.
Trustee Gomez. Next speaker is Keisha Daniels.
That one's not working.
My name is Akeisha Daniels. I live at 4719 Cary Street. I'm a parent volunteer. I've been volunteering in Central High School. I committed to 266 hours this year. I'm really not happy with a lot of things that have happened at Central High School. I'm really not happy with a lot of things that you all are voting for and passing on this board. Our kids are struggling. Our kids need help at Central High School more than you all will ever know. You all need to make it mandatory that next year that you all take some time out of your busy schedules and get to that school and see about these kids. We have had drug programs that have sat in this office with you all for a whole school year. We had a whole group of seniors that may have needed some help with drug and alcohol problems. And you all let that sit. And as a parent, I am very angry that you all let some kids walk out of that school and they need help. They need more social workers. They need more clothes and food. You all need to open back up the bookstore. You all need to give them shirts and stuff when they don't have them at their school. It's not so much about the sports. It's about caring. If you all don't care, please sign and give your resignation today and leave. Because I have sat there and hear people talk about, oh, we don't have parents at school board meetings. If you all were at the school, you would know where I'm at.
That's true.
I'm there.
That's true.
I'm there. I'm there, and I'll be there for the next 3 years for the freshmen that are leaving. I'm going to be there, but I think that it starts at home. You all make decisions for kids, but I want to see y'all there. I don't want to see you just at basketball games. I don't just want to see you at football games. I don't just want your donations. I need your body. Those boys are up there and they need help, boys and girls. But until you all that are making decisions for kids show up, you make decisions, but you don't show up. I've seen a couple of you there. I thank you for coming. I appreciate you all. I appreciate all your work that you do and your volunteering with the kids. But you all need to show up better. Better. And the schools are failing because you're not making it mandatory. If you don't show up, why would parents show up? And if you don't have any kids there, you don't care what happens with our kids. So you all need to make it mandatory that you all show up. Put your money where your mouth is and show up. And before you make any more decisions for any kids at Central High School or any of our public schools, ask some parents, get some parents on this board. Get some active parents on the board. Call me, 219-588-1051. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Speaker Sierra Upshaw.
She left.
Ms. Upshaw?
She left.
Sorry, thank you.
Next person.
Next person is James Newson. James Newson.
My name is James Newson. I live at 4223 Alcott Avenue. I am now a senior at Central High School. I am the captain of the football, wrestling, and track team. I was first in conference for discus and third in shot put. The coaches that I have been working with for the past years are now gone. My teams are devastated because we cannot condition to the best of our abilities with our coaches who have built relationships with us. I am the definition of a student athlete. My life revolves around that school. I have finished a year and a half at Ivy Tech. The lowest grade I have had this year is a B+. No one can tell me that every decision you make is in the best interest for the students, because my very fellow classmates are asking me, why can't we go to practice? Why can't we be with the coaches we love? My football coach adopted me. And now my senior year is ruined because of a decision one of you made to fire all head coaches at Central. Also, now bringing any coach in is at jeopardy of having a losing season because their athletes are unconditioned. I am the president of the Student Voices Committee. We came in a few weeks ago and gave you all a whole presentation of the state of our school, the state of the school lunch, the bathrooms that need to be fixed, everything. We gave you a great and grand presentation that we spent hours and weeks working on. I am very emotional right now, and I am trying not to let it show. This means a lot to me, and I feel like I've just been spat in my face. I feel like the Student Voices Committee, every single one who spent hours doing research, talking to teachers, students, and faculty to find ways to help make the school better are now spat on too. Do better. All change is not good change.
Miss Madeline Span.
That's our future right there.
Everybody up there should have stood up for this young man.
All the school board should stand for him.
Everybody should have stood up.
This man's trying to.
He's Chicago's own.
My name is Madeline Span, live 4942 Euclid Avenue, East Chicago, Indiana. And I have a letter that I've been trying to get here for God knows how long, but I'm just not being able to come. and it's concerning the alternative school program, which I read, and it's addressed June 20th, 2023, to Dr. Javier Abrego. Dr. Abrego, the alternative education program has been completed as of May 26, 2023, and the members of homeowners, residents, and voters, HRV, are anxiously awaiting to read your statistical evaluation. We would have been honored as community members to have had the opportunity to participate in the development of the program. Since it is too late for that, we have instead decided to evaluate the program from your report. We are seeking specific information that may or may not be included in your program evaluation. We need this data to complete a fair assessment of the project. Please include the following answers to the following questions in your evaluation or exit report of the alternative education program. And the questions are, from which school or source was the program tailored? Number of degreed social workers and counselors, the actual student-teacher ratio, racial background of all staff and students. Will alternative program become year-round? What was the average length of time that a student participated? How long can a student remain in the school? Is a student expected to pass the high school graduation exam if they are in the program in the senior year? Since students are grouped by grade level, what was the average number of students in one class with different learning levels, IEPs and individual instruction plans? The number of teachers hired that were also the student's day teacher. How many times was each student evaluated during their stay in the program and had modified IEPs? Number of times a student saw a social worker or a counselor per week. The average hour each student spent in tutoring, and which session did it occur? Prior to direct instruction, did teachers develop lessons according to each student's learning level? How was the type of social learning decided for students? Types of positive reinforcement. How many parents and students receive orientation before entering the program? On the average, how many
Ms. Spanier,
hours?
at 3 minutes.
Okay, I got 3 more lines. On average, how many hours a week did each student receive specific HRV requests a response in writing concerning the above information no later than July 3rd? And it was given to all the board members.
Thank you. Next speaker is Diana Darden.
I'm real, man. Diana Darden, 7415 William Street, Maryville, Indiana. Everything I was going to say, it went totally out my brain because everything that went on tonight has totally peed me off, seriously. I'm an alumni of East Chicago Central High School, class of 95, and I run the EC Central alumni page. There's 4,700 people on there. And I came to represent the alumni because from my understanding, and I hope that it still does not remain the same, I was speaking on behalf of the principal at Central, that I felt like, in my opinion, as well as fellow alumni, that he should not be removed. Because I was also not only speaking on him, but other fellow alumni who have been affected by the plan of action of the superintendent. Because just like this young man said, the people that are in these positions are like family members to some of these kids that ain't got family at home. So what are you gonna do? Move somebody in that don't care and that ain't gonna probably be here once you leave? So my thing is, this man sacrificed his everything to do what he can to appease the children, the community, the staff, and ran an athletic program while he was a principal at the same time. It's a slap in his face for you to even consider removing him from East Chicago Central High School. Lastly, my mama always told me when somebody can't look you in your face when they talking to you, that means they don't care about what you talking about or you thinking about something else you're gonna lie about to me. Please pay me attention and everybody else. You didn't even pay this boy no attention while he was talking. And lastly, because like I said, I done forgot everything I was gonna say because I'm just totally mad. But the comment from one of the trustees is why I'm real peeved. Because Trustee Orange, ex-trustee Winfield, and ex-trustee Monroe ain't never stopped working for these kids in this community, regardless whatever position they went to. So how dare you even say that? When you in that position because she ain't in it.
Next speaker is Brandon Bowles. Brandon?
That's right. It was a grace of God you got in there.
Beg it again. Keep begging. Keep begging. Keep begging. All right, we behind y'all. We behind y'all. We behind y'all. We behind y'all. We behind you.
All right. Good evening. I'm President Rodriguez and the members of the board. My name is Brandon Bowles, and I'm the union representative for SEIU Local 73. I spoke at the previous meeting in regards to union recognition for the bus drivers, monitors, and safety specialists. We are here again. So I'm joined tonight by many of the bus drivers, monitors, and safety.
He looking down. Tell him
Looking again. And safety specialists. So these workers are critical to the safety of the students here at School City of East Chicago, and they do their jobs very well. So we're here again asking for an answer for answers to one simple question. Would you recognize these workers as union?
I do.
So we'll be looking for an answer before July 3rd school board meeting. Thank you.
See you at the next meeting, buddy.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
Thank you. Next speakers, I only have a first initial A, Romero. First initial A, Romero. Hollis Fullerlo.
Hey, Mo.
State your name and address for the record again.
Yes. Hollis Full of Love, 4009 Drummond Street. Really came to support the principal at East Chicago Central High School. Just kind of want to speak to the quality of a man that he has been, and the quality of a man that he has raised up through the city. I think he is the epitome of Cardinal Pride, coming in as a 20-year career from a teacher all the way to the principal. What message does that tell our students that we do not value our own, right? Me independently as a businessman and an entrepreneur, the first person to trust me with leadership was Abe Brown, right? And it's still in me that people would listen and people would respect what I had to say because I was taught the right things and did things the right way. It is disappointing, again, this is the second meeting I've been to in a row. It's disappointing the way the interaction has been between the board and the community. I would encourage everybody to remember that you are elected officials and these people are not energized to maybe elect in a different direction. I would hope that everything that has happened over the last few weeks and leading forward, that everybody in the community continues to come out and support each other, because at the end of the day, this is about the children. As we heard this young man say, he felt spat in his face. I never felt that way as a member of East Chicago school system, mainly because of people like Abe Brown, mainly because of people like Mr. Kelly, my coach Anthony Cerner. It's so many people in this community that have been a member of making me feel like the person I could be, that I can go out in the world, no matter whether I was at Butler University, no matter whether I was in Silicon Valley, anywhere in the business environment, and be something. We need to ensure that we keep those people in positions to be able to encourage our children and continue to grow our community.
Jesse Quiroga.
Jesse Quiroga, 35 Parker Vac, Porter, Indiana, also known to most as Elsie's husband. So I think I know most of the people in here. Born and raised in East Chicago, educated in East Chicago, probably, I'd say about 50 to 60 years of Quirogas going through the East Chicago school districts. Very proud to be a senator, not a cardinal, I'm a senator. Always a senator. So I have one question. I know you guys can't answer, but it was kind of strange that item number 4 on this was lumped together for audience participation, but yet 5, 6, 7, each item you asked for audience participation. I would have loved to come up for 4.02, which is the personnel report. I didn't realize you guys were going to lump it together, so I also was a school board president, not for East Chicago schools, but for St. Stanislaus. I know Robert's rules. I know how they work. So I'm very curious as to why that happened. I don't understand why we try to fix something that's not broken, when this school city has so many things that are broken that you should be focusing on. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about trying to move a principal. Nobody in here knows what that principal does. She does more laundry for students at our house than for us. She is. Probably twice a week, she takes home clothes. We go shopping for clothes for these students, okay? Also for personal hygiene items. She's buying them, taking them to the school. I don't think anybody up there knows what she does. And that's pretty sad. I heard it numerous times. You guys need to go into the schools and find out, ask some questions. We can't go to all the restaurants that she gets cards from the teachers to say, here's a gift card. Thank you for the job you do. Christmas, we probably get 10, 20 of them. She just got a whole bunch because the understanding was she was going to be moved. So the teachers gave her a whole bunch of different cards to go to restaurants. So I don't understand what the agenda is to try to move her, but it just doesn't make any sense. I think you heard from her experience, and our dedication here. She's right. We go to church here. I spend all of our discretion money here. My car gets fixed here in East Chicago. Tires get repaired in East Chicago. I'll be here tomorrow morning, the barber shop here in East Chicago, getting my haircut and probably going to a restaurant here. So nobody can tell me that I am not vested in East Chicago, as I heard earlier. That really offended me. And maybe I'm not here in person, but I've been listening to so many meetings, and some of you board members know because I've talked to you about some of the meetings and what's gone on. And I'm here today because of what was said last week by one of the trustees. And I know my time's up.
Your time is up.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Reverend Wade?
Good evening. My name is Reverend Wade from Past the Americas of Zion Church. My address is 2014 Cardinal Drive in East Chicago. My message has not changed. When you heard from James, some of you got a chance to meet him because of me. The board met with the student voices because of me. And when you say that there's nobody in this room that cares about the children, that offended me. Matter of fact, I don't like it. And don't ever make that kind of statement. I'm sitting up and say it behind my back. Don't say it to my face. I've been praying with the children every day. I haven't seen y'all out there.
Right, sure have.
I've been to the meeting with the student voices. I met with them. Yes, sir. And as a result of meeting with them, we've come up with a plan. We prayed Mr. Brown. I don't know why y'all getting rid of him, because he's a praying man. That's right. And that's what some of y'all need prayer. And as a result, I'm waiting on everybody to look at me. I don't want to be, I don't talk to nobody's back now. Because I'm already upset today because of that statement made. Amen. The struggle includes, we've got to deal with these young people's struggle. Their emotional and social issues. We've got to teach our young men especially their value. We've got to understand these young people's intentions. We've got to change the negative images of our young men. All these young people are not bad. All these young people are not on drugs. All these are not dropouts. I'm requesting that we have a strategy to foster the personal and spiritual growth of these young people. I'd like the meeting with this board. I want to sit down with you all, one-on-one. I'd like to meet with you all and take my time and tell you what's in my heart. 3 minutes is not enough. I've been in this town since 1965, and a lot of y'all go and come back. I have never left town. I'm one of the pastors who've never left town. And I want you to know that we love this community. We're about these children. And I'd just like to request tonight, I'm going to pass this out to you. I want to respect the time, be respectful tonight. I don't want to be disrespectful. I want to pass out to you my request to this board, and I would really like to hear from you. I don't want this on no sidebar. I want to hear from this board so we can talk about these children.
I'm sorry, I inadvertently passed over you, Pastor Kelly. Please, you're next.
Good evening.
Pastor, let me pass this out, please.
Sure. Yes, sir.
I don't want to disrespect you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Pastor Kelly.
All right, good. My name is Pastor Kelly Williams, pastor Greater Destiny Bible Church, 1920 East Columbus Drive, and I'm an East Chicago resident. I live at 4718 Magoon Avenue in East Chicago. I used to come to these meetings on a regular basis, and I have to apologize because there's some people that are in this room that really lit a fire inside of me, because there are a lot of us that are passionate about the youth. And I just had decided that I was going to work around this because the politics of it, because I just, when you're talking about kids, at some point in time, we all were a child. The system ain't been broke just this week, this year. The system been broke a long time. It failed me. And yeah, he tried to put me in special ed. Now, there's some that say I probably not need to be in special ed. But I think I turned out all right. I was raised in East Chicago, born and raised here. I think the problem is there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect somewhere. This is something that we should want. We should both encourage it and foster it. The last people that should be talking about voices being stripped from people are black and brown people. Our voices, and the day after Juneteenth, our voice has been stripped for the longest time. We should be applauding these people. We should be reaching out to this young man, creating a youth advisory council to break this disconnect. My issues is not that we haven't been trying. Pastors been trying for years to get into schools, but we were arrested. We were told we were sent through processes they told me I couldn't be a school visitor because I had a ticket, a speeding ticket. So the pastors took on that, hey, they don't want us in the schools. So what would we do? We prayed outside the schools. So it's not that we haven't been passionate about being in, but it's not that they brought us in for the strategic plan under Herring or whatever his name was, the guy that used to cut his grass with the bare chest. They gave us a book. They knew we couldn't go through all that terminology. We wanted to be a part of the process. The problem isn't the plan. The problem is the process. Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense of why you get rid of, you get moving, you do the shuffleboard. They tell me to come to a school, I'm sitting at the wrong school. I don't even know where Carrie Gosh is. I'm sitting over in West Calumet. They moved. The school I grew up in, Franklin, now it's Washington L. This used to be Washington. You all, there's a disconnect. I'm done. There's a disconnect. Please, I'm begging you. The community wants to work with you, but you gotta make it make sense. We can't knock this. We want this. This is what you want. You say you want parental involvement, they here. Don't make them feel bad for doing it. And again, I'll close with this. The last people that shouldn't want this are black and brown people, because we fought for our voices. We should respect it, we should encourage it, and we should foster it.
Trustee Gomez?
I'm going to give my 3 minutes to Mr. Quiroga.
I'm surprised they let you do that.
I don't think I need to introduce myself again, do I? No. A couple things that just come to mind. I hear data being thrown around quite a bit. I don't know if anybody knows what I've done for a living. I used to be a teacher here in East Chicago also many years ago, probably before some of you were born. But I went the business route, and I did a lot of work in the business environment. And I hear about data and get the data results. Data is just data. It's bits and bytes, guys. That's all it is. You got to take the data, make it into information. And do you know how you make it into information? Good answer. But you got to correlate that data to some other data. Once you correlate it, just for example, absences. Why are absences high on Friday? Because it's close to whatever the reason is. But you got to correlate the data, not just get data. Then you turn it into information. Once you have information, then you turn it into knowledge. And you learn from that and you make changes. And then it becomes wisdom because it's embedded in you now. There's a vicious circle that goes around, and then you start all over again. So collecting data is great, but you got to do something with it, not just say our scores are low. Why are they low? Let's do something about it and change it. And in order to figure out what's wrong, you got to do that correlation. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about I say I watch these meetings because I do watch them. So hearing that I'm not here present, yeah, I live in Porter, that's 30 miles away, but I have come here quite a bit, but I do watch them. And it's interesting, some of them I've heard where the administration or the superintendent has lied to deans and said things are required that aren't required. I heard that, somebody saying this. There should be some repercussion for that type of thing. There should be something to take care of that, to prevent that from happening again. I also, tonight I heard a request for a resignation of Dr. Abrego. I've known Dr. Abrego for many, and I'm sorry for mentioning names, I've known you for many years. My son went to Franklin when you were the principal there at Franklin. My sister supported you, and I think you know that very well. When I heard that resignation, I heard the votes. I remember seeing a board meeting 6-9 months ago where a different trustee made that request to have him removed or ask for his resignation.
So I don't know what's going on. I'm not here to say resign. I think there's a lot of things that can be done and we can fix it. But there seems to be some type of, I don't know what it is, and I know my time's up. Thank you. Gilda?
I got my background singers, my council members over here, so if any problems, I'm looking back here. I know y'all do. Okay, first of all, I know I'm gonna talk soft, Reverend. Somebody mentioned the fact that A. Brown wasn't here, and so he wasn't fighting for his job. Well, he got a whole lot of people fighting for him. He didn't have to come today. And if that is the only reason why he should not stay put, then shame on this board. Mr. Abrego, I've been seeing you writing. I know you can't mention no names, but I've been seeing you writing. So where are all these answers going to be put that you have wrote down the questions to that we have asked? There's somewhere, some place that all these questions that people have asked should be put on the website so that we know the answers. I went to a meeting at Franklin School. I have not gotten answers to any of the questions that I asked. And so I don't know why that is. But it's a shame that people have to beg for their job. They have to beg for the 3%, have to beg to be a union. Come up here and degrade themselves and ask you to let them have a union, let them have 3%. 3 months went past before you even considered the 3% for those people. And that's a shame for somebody to have to do that. You had a trustee that mentioned Juneteenth, and oh boy, my throat got sore because to me you were only mentioning it because you saw the amount of people that was in the crowd. You don't really mean none of it because if you're talking about getting rid of Abe Brown, this young man back here that is so qualified, I don't even know what he was doing over here in East Chicago. He should be somewhere else. He's so qualified. And then you want to mention Juneteenth. Shame on you. I know that all of this is not your fault, Mr. Abrego, but there is no way that football coaches, basketball coaches, teachers, deans, principals don't even know where they're going. Here it is, the end of June. They don't even have 3 good months to prepare. They only got about 2 months to prepare. And not even 2 months, maybe a month and a week to prepare. And they don't even know where they're going. And the disconnect, some of these kids need a constant. Because if they don't have a constant, then they don't have anybody to go to, nobody to look up to, nobody to say, hey, this is happening to me, because maybe Ms. Quiroga already knows the problems in that student's household, that other person don't have to go and be embarrassed to go tell another principal that they don't even know, because she already knows the background of those kids.
3 minutes are
A.
up.
Brown already knows the background of those kids. Shame on you guys for and taking all this time. I had such high hopes for you, Mr. Abrego, but what happened?
Kenny Monroe?
Don't start yet, I'm not up here. How we doing? Kenneth Monroe, 3831 Ivy Street. I just been looking around this room, and I bet you $1 to a penny that I help somebody in your family or you in this whole city. Right now, I'm saying 99% of y'all I did something for. And as you were kids, I did something for. I don't have to come to no meetings to do. I'm a show and tell. All right? A meeting don't do nothing because you skid up in the meeting, you ain't getting nothing done anyway. But when that kid wanted that new pair of shoes, where were you? When they didn't have no food on their table, where were you? I'll be in your house. Now, I'm gonna leave that alone because I ain't gonna say no names, but as a board, you guys saw this guy's resume. and you saw what I saw, from Arizona to Colorado, and you guys still hired this guy. Well, we gonna give him a third time to mess up? Because that's what he's doing. And I keep telling you guys, y'all going down the hill with him. Y'all gonna go with him because what you're doing is not right. What he's doing is not right. And especially to one other person. One person on the board was against Abrego like crazy. January 2023, wanted to get rid of him. Since that point, he has went 100% with him, up or down, left or right, either way. You know why? It's always a deal, y'all. It's a cut and deal on things. Like bringing guys into the weight room, getting rid of experienced people. That shouldn't, like Ms. Owens said, shouldn't even be here. But he won't be here at East Chicago. We getting rid of good people out of East Chicago to bring people from someplace else, don't none of us know, but them. We'd already hired a track coach, and track didn't even start. They ain't even had a job yet. They've been hired already. And then you want to get a co-AD and you want to do all this? Y'all gonna let this happen? No. And I'm talking to y'all up there on that board. Is y'all gonna let that happen?
They're looking at you.
If that's the case, why don't we get a co-superintendent? Why don't we get a co-superintendent then? But what you guys up there, and I'm gonna say 3 guys in the middle, y'all getting played on, you other 3. Telling y'all.
Mr. President, that concludes the list of speakers for this evening.
Thank you, Trustee Gomez. The next date and time for our meeting will be Monday, July 3rd at 6 o'clock. That's Monday, July 3rd at 6 o'clock. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Trustee Gomez. Is there a second? Second by Trustee Gibson King. Roll call.
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yeah.
Yes.
Trustee
Gibson King?
Brand new job description.
Chairman Rodriguez?
Yes. That concludes our, that concludes our meeting for today.